Welcome to Outliers Get to Know. I'm your host, Tracey Devlyn, and I'm here with authors Ryan Steck and Simon Gervais, or AKA Simon Gervais to those to his fans here in the US, or who also have deplorable French accents like myself, to talk about their new thriller, The Second Son. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Tracy,
Thank
for
you for
having
having
us.
us.
You betcha. My pleasure. It's a huge treat for me to have you both here. I'm a fan of your individual works, and now I'm a fan of your collaborative work. I'm so excited for this book, and really I can't wait for your fans to get a hold of it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure for Ryan and I to collaborate on this one as well. I think we've been friends for over a decade now, but funny enough, and we do mention it quite a lot, but we've never met in person. So we do a lot of FaceTime, a lot of Zoom. We talk a lot on the phone, but and we kind of promised ourselves that needs to change. At least, hopefully, in the next
Yeah.
year or two, we'll
Yeah.
have the pleasure to meet ourselves face to face.
Well, he
Yeah.
always travels, Tracy, but just never to Michigan, apparently. And I don't go anywhere. So, I actually didn't know that we didn't meet in person until someone mentioned it. And it was like, oh man, you're right. But we're excited about this one too. And I would just say, if anyone's read my stuff or Simon's, and you think you know what to expect, this is a pretty different a book than either of us have ever written before.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, maybe they'll have BoucherCon in Michigan at some point, and we'll all show up there. Before we jump into the Second Son, why don't you tell us a bit about yourselves and your individual writing journeys? I don't know, Ryan, do you want to get us started, and then we'll jump over to
Sure.
Simon?
Yeah. All right. So my name is Ryan Steck, and I think this is year 11 now. I've also gone as the Real Book Spy. I launched that website with support from other authors, Ted Bell, some others, because I felt like there was no one-stop shop for all things thriller, and I really felt at the time I was transitioning from sports journalism into publishing, and I just really did not enjoy writing reviews for other outlets and having like a boss. I don't know how every other like regular day people do it. I'm so not good at like following directions. And I wanted to review the books I wanted to review, and I wanted to cover the books I wanted to cover, and like you get to pick who I interviewed. So I launched the Real Book Spy, and it grew really quickly, and I'm really thankful for that, and still exists today. I'm still overseeing that, and it's been a lot of fun. But I love thrillers, and along the way, I would find myself reading books, going, it'd be really great if this happened, or if they would have done this instead. And I think so many authors got tired of hearing that they finally just said, if you wrote the book, you could do whatever you want. And so that's what I did. A few years ago, I really decided, like, okay, I'm going to do that. And was very blessed to have an agent right from the jump that I knew well, was friends with, John Talbot. And my first novel, Fields of Fire, launched my own series. Man, I think it was only like 2023. So this has been quick for me.
Mhm.
2022, maybe. It's been quick. And I got to meet a lot of people along the way, like Simon. And you say his name better than me. He's always been Simon to me. So, but it's been a lot of fun, and I'm thrilled to be on this side of it. Writing the books now, because I still run the Book Spy. I can see. I know who has the harder job. Let me say it like that. Like, it's a lot easier to go write the review of a book than it is to sit down and write the story itself. But I'm having a whole lot of fun doing it.
Oh, that's great. Indeed, it is. And I think you got an opportunity to, you'd mentioned Ted Bell. I don't know if you want to talk about that project as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. No, I'm super excited. Yeah, Ted was a mentor of mine and someone that I worked with behind the scenes for about a decade. And when he passed away, I mean, it was a huge loss in my life. And that, like, a few months after we lost him, my agent called, and I don't know if I'm dumb or he didn't explain it properly, but he said Penguin Random House is talking about continuing Ted's Alex Hawk series, and everyone wants you involved. In fact, I don't think they're going to do it unless you're involved. And it didn't hit me, and I said, yeah, tell them whoever they get to write them, I'd love to work with them. I'd love to be involved. And there was like a long pause where my agent, I think, fought the urge to like call me an idiot and said, no, Ryan, they want you to write them. And I was like, oh my gosh, like really? So, I took over Ted's Alex Hawk series, and Ted Bell's Monarch's already come out. Ted Bell's Warmonger comes out next March, and we're gonna have a big announcement about the future of the series and how it's going to expand really soon. So that's been a really cool thing.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's got to be what a wonderful call to have gotten. And just to honor your friendship with Ted and that whole
Yeah.
relationship that you had. Because I think I even read on your website that he was the one who encouraged you to build that website, if I recall
Yeah.
correctly. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, Ted also didn't do well having bosses or answering to anybody, and he just kept saying, "Buddy, if you build it, we'll come, we'll support you." The thing is like my wife watches the Oscars every year, and I don't, because when I see the recap, I've never even heard of any of the movies that win the awards, let alone seen them. But I've seen every billion-dollar Marvel franchise and Mission Impossible and Fast and Furious. I love those. But in the literary scene, thrillers are kind of like those billion-dollar action franchises. They don't get recognized. Ted was, I think, one of the best wordsmiths of his generation. This is a guy who was a resident writer at Cambridge University, but he wrote thrillers, so he didn't always get the accolades he probably deserved for being such a world-class writer. And at the time, I think a lot of authors were frustrated with that. And yeah, he certainly was beating the drum the loudest of like, dude, go launch your own site and we'll support that. We need someone to focus on thrillers. And yeah, it was a great phone call to get. It was better when I understood that they really wanted me to write them. So yeah, it was great.
Absolutely. How about you, Simon? You have your own very interesting story and legacy writing that you've enjoyed too.
Yeah, actually, my background is much different than Ryan. I started my career as an infantry officer with the Canadian Forces, where I specialize in advanced reconnaissance and small unit tactics. And then when my military contract ended, I joined the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, which is, for my American friends, the FBI, DEA, ATF, Secret Service all roll into one big organization here in Canada. And just to set the record straight, my name is Simon Gervais. It's also Simon Gervais. It's both. It's just a
Yeah.
pronunciation thing. So none of it bothers me whatsoever. And honestly, 95% of my market is in the US, UK, and Australia. So I don't think I sell any book in Quebec since my books haven't been translated in French
Mm.
just yet. So for me, I started writing. It took me 7 years to write my first novel, and that happened in 2015. And then my career really took off when I joined Thomas and Mercer in 2019. And my breakthrough novel was Hunt Them Down. This one broke the charts. I was really happy and I never looked back. I'm still with Thomas and Mercer now. I think I have 13 or 14 books and contracts with them since 2019. Hopefully, there's going to be a few more added very soon. But they've been great to me. I love my entire team there, Gracie Dole, Liz Persons. I mean, it's great. And I'm so, so happy that the second son, um, that it's going to be published again by Thomas and Mercer, and that Ryan was able to join me with that. So we're both incredibly excited. And to answer the other part of your question about my own writing for an estate was with Robert Ludlum. So I think he was just like Ted Bell, another literary icon of his generation. And when I got that call from Tom Colgan at Random House, I was so thrilled. I mean, Robert Ludlum was my hero when I was young. I spent a lot of time reading in cars to go to Old Orchard Beach or Florida with my parents when I was young, and we didn't take the plane, so we were driving there,
Mm.
and my best friends were books because I'm a single child or lonely child. I'm never sure in English if we say lonely child or single child, but I think
Say only child.
only
Single,
child.
single, yeah,
You're a
only
Okay.
child,
single
single
parent
child.
or an only child.
All right, thanks, buddy. So yeah, I read, and Robert Ludlum was my favorite writer, author, novelist. So I was thrilled to continue in the Jason Bourne universe. So it was all super exciting, and now I'm
Yeah.
ready to do this series with Ryan.
Yeah, and you got to work with the great Tom Colgan too, as they say. I hear authors who work with him just they like to tease him a little bit about the Tom
It's funny.
Colgan. Great.
Tom is always laughing about that. He says, I'm not great at anything, but what I'm good at is finding the right author for the job. So,
Mhm.
he's in charge of the Ted Bell, the Clancy, the Ludlum. So he's always managed to get the right person at the right time for the right book. So I guess
Yeah.
this is his superhuman talent.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I mentioned, I'm familiar with both of your individual works, but I didn't, when I read through The Second Son, I did not detect your individual voices in the story. It was almost as if you had created this third shared voice. And Ryan, did the two of you go into the collaboration with that as a goal, or did the third voice come out during the editing phase or some other phase?
Yeah, no, it was very natural. I don't think we ever discussed it. It just when I look back on it now, I don't even remember what I wrote or what Simon wrote. I will sometimes think that was a pretty good line that he added, and I'll find out I added it, or in reverse. Um, no, I think our styles just really melded well together, and it's funny because I don't know how other excuse me, I don't know how other co-authors work, but like I don't think we ever even had a disagreement on story or characters. It was always just, man, I want to do this, and here's what I want to do, and here's how I see it, and here's how I think we should go. And it was always story first with no ego. So if someone had a good idea, it was always explore that, figure out how we can do it. There were a lot of things that I thought sounded good until Simon would one up me and he would come back with something stronger. And in the end, yeah, I think what we both noticed is when you go through, because we've each touched every line of this book, there's not a Ryan Steck line and there's not a Simon Gervais line. It really did take on its own voice, and I'm so thrilled that you noticed that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's funny
absolutely.
that you mentioned that, Tracy, because this was the first thing my long-term editor told me when she finished the book. She said, I've read one of Ryan's book before. I've read all of yours, of course, and it's hard for me to know who wrote what. And she said that, well, then it's perfect. And they were really impressed with that. And I
Mm.
think this is what they were looking for. I think they wanted the best out of me and out of Ryan. And I think this is what we delivered. And honestly, we're both super thrilled that on December 1st, everybody will have the chance to read it. And then we're really
Yeah.
looking forward to their thoughts.
Yeah, great.
I would add
Okay.
this, Tracy. It's a book that really took both of us to pull off. If you read it, then I don't think either of us would be known for twists or turns. I think we're both
You've
probably
got,
known for characters and action. And you're gonna get some real twists and turns and some jaw droppers with this one. And
oh,
because of that, I'm thrilled it doesn't sound like me or like Simon, but it just really was the kind of story that I think took two writers to put their heads together on how we could do this and make it work.
yeah. Yeah, I read a lot of psychological suspense. I read a lot of thrillers, and it feels like you almost melded those two subgenres together because of the twists. I mean, you've got some what I call Lulus in there, and I think that it's just going to be very thrilling for your readers whenever they get to those parts of the book. So that's great. Um, your protagonist, Chase Burke, he's a bit different, I think, than the kind of hero either of you have written in the past, at least to my recollection. He has a military background, but he's not that larger than life character that we sometimes associate with military thrillers. He's I don't know, Simon, how would you define Chase for us? How did he come about? How would you define him for us?
I think he's an everyday man, American type of thing. He comes from a great family that we think he's coming from a great family. And he's just been a disappointment for his entire family, except his brother Michael, his entire life. And of course, I wanted him to be able to do some cool stuff in the book. So he needed some type of training, but I didn't want him to be an ex-SEAL or a Rambo type of thing. I wanted to be more grounded. I wanted the fight to be a little bit more realistic, I would say. And I wanted to add another dimension to him. And my wife and I have started taking sommelier lessons a few years ago. And I was studying very hard for my exams. And when Ryan and I kind of discussed what we would do with our main protagonist, I say, what, I think he should be like a former soldier turned sommelier. I think that would be great. And I don't know anyone that, is doing that in our genre right now. So I think
Yeah.
this is how we came up with it. And again, I don't even remember if it's Ryan or me who decided that his background is going to be in psyops. I don't remember, but it came flawlessly in the book. So maybe Ryan, you do remember, but I certainly don't.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. But well, here's what I would say. No, it's our conversations are so cool. I wish our readers could just see parts of it. Because again, there's really no ego, and I think a lot of writers would tell you that. I don't know how true it would be. We really don't bring ego to this. It's all about story and characters, and the wine. Everything wine related is all Simon. I let him handle.
I kind of wondered about
all of that and travel stuff, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny is Simon is right. Chase is an everyday man and a failure to everyone but his big brother Michael, who dies in the first chapter. So he really is just this regarded second son that never quite lived up. And I think that's where we wanted to start, because there's so much room to explore. And I think the goal with Chase was always, over the course of these books, to see him become the hero we need him to be, that we want him to be. And what does that journey look like, from everyday wine expert to, action superstar? He's not there yet. I mean, he's not at the end of this one, but, I won't give anything away, but I think book 2 might even be better and sets up really well. So you get to see this character really develop. And that was probably what drove 90% of our early conversations about this book. I would say my favorite twist didn't come up until much later. We had the character down, we had the family dynamics, we kind of had a rough idea of story, and it was like, man, we should write this book. And even at that point, I don't think either one of us had really thought through what became the big twist of this story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny you were talking about your collaboration and how well you got along together. I think that would be a great Discord at some point, is to see the two of you brainstorming a particular plot issue, or just, I don't know, character dynamic. I don't know, but I think that would be super cool. But anyway, one
I
of the
think
things
the way we actually do it, we think we have our own ideas, and then we talk and we debate, right? It's not like we usually don't necessarily come up an idea when we are talking. It's like, okay, let's go discuss character. Say, okay, man, on our next call, we should maybe do this. Yeah, okay. We take a few days, and then we join forces together, and then we
Yep.
discuss and we debate the idea that we had on our own, and we always take the
Yeah.
best. And sometimes we mix them together to come up with a better version of what we have come up on our own.
Yeah, I'll just add to that, if you don't mind. Let me add. So I think it's even less debate, because I don't think either one of us are ever too married to our own ideas. So we kind of come in like, here's how I see it. Let me explain it. And I would be the first to say, I'll come in with like what I think is a great idea, and I'll pitch it. And then Simon, he's such a gentleman, and it's always like, I like that, and he'll throw something else at me, and right away I can go, oh yeah, that's better. That's better. And he's done it with me as well. He'll have an idea, and if I come back and say, here's how I think this should bend, and I've seen it from him too. It's the friendship, it's the trust that has to be there. I've never co-authored before, but I think there has to be a lot of trust, and I don't think it works with everyone. Harlan Coben just wrote a book with Reese Witherspoon, and he was asked, like, would you ever co-author again? And he said, not with anyone but Reese, because it was so easy. It was, we were on the same page, and I totally get that, because I think it's really fun for us to see what the other one has come up with. And then, yes, we go our own separate ways. We think about it. We come back and kind of repitch each other. And that's where it's fun. Like I think we can both tell in the moment when we're having good ideas, like, this is going to look good on the page. Sometimes it's a question of like, man, that'd be really cool, but can we do it? Can we find a way to make that work? And then that
Yeah.
becomes the challenge too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think
yeah. Sometimes they are great challenges. They're so much fun. Like right now, Ryan and I are working on the final edits because the book, The Second Son, its sequel, it's called The Marked Son, and it's due to our editor on November 1st. And we're presently working on editing the last version that we came up with. And honestly, I can't wait to get back to it. I'm so excited. I'm pumped. It's interesting. There's not one day I wake up and I say, oh my God, I have to do this. I'm excited. Like I wake up before everybody else at home and I get to work and I'm loving every second of it.
Oh,
And
that's
the
great.
funny thing as well is that sometimes I make everybody laugh, especially Ryan, because like just happened when I say debate, that's not what I meant to say. It's my French Canadian that my brain thinks in French. I'm trying to translate. It didn't mean debate, didn't mean like argument. I meant it just a collaborative conversation. But sometimes I say
Yeah.
the wrong word at the wrong time. And it's like Ryan said, no, I don't think this is what you meant, Simon, when you wrote this. I think you meant something else. So
I
this is
totally
this
got
is a lot of
debate.
fun.
Yeah, debate
Oh man,
doesn't have to be
according
confrontational at all. It can be
no,
a
and
healthy discussion. It's
it's not.
okay.
That's why this is so fun because Simon's genuinely such a good guy. My wife would tell you I use the wrong words a lot. Less in my writing, more in real life. But it is fun. By the way, I'm for sure going to use lonely child from now on to describe all my friends that only have one kid. And I would just say that like yeah, this has been really smooth and we both kind of have the shared vision of where things should go and what it should look like. And man, I'm really psyched. We can't wait for our readers to get their hands on this.
Yeah, I it's so interesting. You were talking earlier about Chase and his family, and I guess their disappointment in him a little bit. And I think just the title itself, it has something almost inherently sad to it after you've read the book and you kind of understand what the term means to Chase. It's almost like it's I don't know, like picking at a hidden wound of that he carries. I don't know. Am I making too much of this, or is
No.
that? Yeah. Okay.
No, it's spot on. And I have to tell you this, I don't remember who came up with the title.
I
It
was
was
going to
like
say the same thing again. I know we repeat ourselves, but it's so true. My brain was like
it is, I
spinning,
don't
trying to
know.
say, did I come up with this or Ryan did? I don't know. I don't know,
It's
but
Yeah.
it's the perfect title for
That's
that
all
book.
good though.
It,
It
it is.
is.
I
Yes.
honestly can't remember because it's one of those. My first book, Tracy, my debut was called Fields of Fire, and literally when my agent was shopping it, like the Friday before it was going to go out on a Monday, so like 2 days before, he tells me like I don't like the title, so send me like 100 alternates, and I'm like 100. I don't even have two, like and so titles are really hard, right? And I
Yeah.
remember I spent all weekend coming up with pitches. And the night before the book went out, my agent is like, "We have to have a title," and I'm like, "Oh, Fields of Fire. It's all I got." And he goes, "Oh, I love that one." And I was like, "Are you kidding me right now? Like that's been the title from the beginning." And he probably doesn't love when I tell that story. I literally can't remember where the title came from. I think it just always was. We just kind of
Mhm.
knew from the very beginning, like when we talked about who is Chase Burke. Oh, he's the second son. And what does that look like? And what does that mean? And how does someone carry that in a painful way to just be the
Yeah.
outcast regarded as yeah, it's just our other son, our second son.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm going to change gears just a little bit and ask you both a fun question. At least I hope it's fun. Um, what is your favorite thing to do when you finish a book? How do you celebrate or treat yourself?
Ryan,
My
you want
answer
to
is going to
start?
be
Either
way
one.
less cool than his.
No.
I
Okay.
go to bed. I go to bed. I generally, if we're trying to finish a book, that means there's a lot of late nights, sleepless nights. I feel like anytime I'm on deadline, including with Simon, it's like you don't sleep so much as you take little naps. And so there's no greater feeling for me to like type the end and go to bed, which is not a cool answer. His is going to be way better than
That's
mine,
all
but
right. It's still a treat. I think that's great. Go
I
ahead,
think
Simon.
that we all feel the same way when we finish a book. We're emotionally and sometimes even physically exhausted after because it's always a big, big push. And I always submit my book with about 10 minutes left before my deadline. So, like Ryan, I'm exhausted. But if you ask me a specific question, what I do to celebrate, for me, it's always about wine. I'm gonna open a great bottle of wine, a great bottle of Pinot Noir from Burgundy, which is my favorite wine. Um, Oh, it could be also Chardonnay from Burgundy because I like a lot like the Puligny Montrachet and Sachang Montrachet as well. But anyway, that's another discussion. So for me, it's going to be open a great bottle of wine with my wife. I think this is,
All right.
we celebrate that,
Yeah.
the last 3 months are done, and I'm thinking about the other project. And usually, what's going to happen is going to be the same thing as Ryan. I'm going to end up in bed because it really takes a toll on you. The
Yeah.
last 2 weeks do take a toll, and I think we just need to reset everything after.
Yeah, it's mentally exhausting. You gotta recharge that well, that's for sure.
And
I love the answer because, by the way, everyone's going to see the interview and then read the book and, like, for sure know that Simon did all the wine stuff. Like, definitely.
The decanting and all sorts of fun things, yes, for sure.
Well, yeah, but listen, don't sell yourself short, Ryan, because I read a few passages that you did, and I remember calling you and say, "Holy crap, buddy, you really researched this well because this was excellent." So please don't sell yourself short. I might have given you the framework, but some stuff you came up with, I was really impressed.
Well, he's being super kind on the interview, and I appreciate that. So it all, I think I'm learning from him as we go.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you both are learning from each other, which is great with a
100%.
collaboration. I love that. I love that you're playing off of each other's strengths and limitations and things like that. So I think that's wonderful, and I hope to see many more books from you both. Before we go, speaking of other books, can you tell us what's up next for you? It sounds like there's a book two in the Chase Burke series, and then please let us know if you've got any other projects that you're working on too. Simon, do you want to go first?
Yeah, listen, the Mark's on, we're working on it right now. It's due in a few days to our editor, and it's going to come up, I think it's going to come out in November of 2026. Under my own name, well, the Elias Enigma just came out this past July. It crushed it on Amazon. There's almost 3,000 reviews in about like 3 months since it came out. So I'm really happy with that. And the third book in my Caspian Anderson series is going to come out next July. It's called Elias Conspiracy.
Great.
And as soon as I'm done, as soon as we're done editing the Mark Son, I'm jumping back to one of my own book, which is scheduled to come out in summer 2027, and this is going to be a standalone.
Okay, great. Well, we got lots to expect from Simon. That's wonderful. How about you, Ryan? What do you have cooking?
Well, I have Ted Bell's Warmonger, my second Alex Hawke novel, March 31st of 2026. And then sometime in the summer will be my fifth Matthew Red novel, Target Down, and then Mark's Son in November. And I love Tracey, by the way, that you that you said you hope this is the first of many that we do together. We hope so too. I hope we're back
Yeah.
in 10 years to talk about this was one of the first interviews we did to kick off our collaboration. It's been a lot of fun. I feel really fortunate, and so a lot of books. If you read The Second Son and you like it, there's a whole lot of books coming out from both of us in the next year or so.
All right, super. All right, folks. Well, The Second Son is soon to be out, so be sure to order your copy today. Yes, thank you. There we go. Yes, order your copy today. Authors love pre-orders, publishers love pre-orders, so go out, grab your copy so that we can see more of this series from these two great guys. You can check out Simon's website at simongervaisbooks.com and Ryan's at ryansteck.com. Ryan, what social media platform are you most active on?
Oh, Twitter, X, whatever Elon's calling it these days. I'm at The Real Book Spy or at Ryan Steck Author. I'm also at therealbookspy.com, and we have a Real Book Spy Substack.
Okay, great. How about you, Simon?
Well, X, Facebook, Instagram. My daughter takes care of all my social media, so I'm
Oh,
very
great.
grateful. She posts great pictures and everything, mostly of travel and what wine I'm drinking. So it's really cool.
All right, wonderful. Again, thanks for joining me today. It was absolute pleasure to talk with both of you about The Second Son. And again, I'm just going to reiterate, I can't wait for the readers to get their hands on this amazing book. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so much.
Tracy.
You
Talk to you soon.
betcha. Many thanks to everyone listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll be back soon with another thrilling read.